Hey, so let's talk about something that, for a lot of us, can feel kind of complicated. That whole idea of faith. Is it just a list of things you have to do, or is it something more alive? Today, we're going to try to reboot that idea and really look at what it means to move from just feeling obligated to having a real connection.
So let me just start by asking you, straight up, when that word faith comes up, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Is it a long checklist of do's and don'ts, maybe a heavy feeling of duty? Or is it something different, something that feels more like a real, living, breathing relationship?
And that question, really that's the heart of what we're diving into today. This tension between seeing faith as a set of rules versus seeing it as a relationship. And we're going to explore both sides of that coin.
Okay, so think about it like this. These are two totally different journeys. On one hand, you have religion, which often feels like it's our effort, right? It's us trying to climb a mountain to find God. But the idea of a relationship completely flips that on its head. It suggests that faith isn't really about us searching for God, but about realizing that God has been searching for us this whole time.
And you can almost feel the difference between these two, can't you? One feels kind of mechanical, held together by systems and structures, but the other, it's organic, it's alive, it's a connection that, just like any friendship, has to breathe to stay alive.
So let's just be honest for a second. For a lot of people, maybe for you, the whole idea of organized religion can sometimes feel, well, empty, like you're just going through the motions. Let's dig into why that feeling is so common and what's really going on there.
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of it like this. All the rituals and traditions, they're supposed to be like the clothes that express our faith. And they can be beautiful things. But what happens when we start caring more about the clothes than the actual person wearing them? The soul of faith, the real connection, it just can't breathe. It gets suffocated by the ceremony.
So to be super clear, the problem isn't the traditions or the ceremonies themselves. Not at all. The danger is when those things stop pointing to God and they become the whole point. When the form loses its soul, all you're left with is an empty shell, a substitute for the real thing.
Okay, this right here, this is where everything changes. If that last part felt a little heavy, this is the big turning point. We're going to talk about something called the order of grace, and you can think of it like a total reboot of faith's operating system. It changes the entire logic from the ground up.
Now this order is so important because it flips everything we normally think. The starting point is not your behavior. The starting point is your identity. Step 1, you are accepted. You are called a child of God. That's a gift. It's not something you earn. From that secure identity, our relationship can actually grow. And then, and only then, do your actions start to flow naturally out of that love.
You see how this is a complete reversal of how the world usually works? The world's logic is, do good things, perform well, then you'll finally earn a good identity. But the order of grace says the complete opposite. It says, no, you are already given a worthy identity. Now, go live from that truth. Think about the freedom in that. It means you can stop performing. You can stop trying to prove you're good enough. You're already valued.
Let's just let that sink in for a moment. This is the core of the entire reboot. You aren't loved because you do good things. You do good things because you are already loved. It changes everything from being about pressure and performance to being about gratitude and freedom.
So if faith is really a relationship, then who is it with? So often the picture of God gets flattened out. We just see him as this distant, demanding master. But the reality is so much richer, so much more dimensional than that.
First, there's the picture of God as a father. And this isn't about some cosmic boss looking over your shoulder. It's about family. It's about having an identity, a place to belong that can't be taken away from you. In a good family, you don't obey just because you're scared of getting kicked out. You do it out of love and trust.
And yeah, there's also God as a king. But before you get an image of some scary tyrant, think about what a truly good king provides. Order, safety, justice. That kind of authority doesn't create fear. It inspires a deep, loving respect, a reverence for someone who is so wise and powerful and good.
And then there's this one, which might be the most surprising of all, God as a friend. Someone who doesn't just shout down commands from on high, but who actually invites us into a real conversation. Someone who wants to share his heart with us and wants to know ours too, honestly and openly.
So why is this whole shift from religion to relationship so critical, especially for us right here, right now? I think it's because it speaks to one of the deepest things we all long for, authenticity. We just want something real.
That just says it all, doesn't it? So many people who are walking away from faith, they're not actually rejecting God. They're rejecting the pressure to pretend. They're just exhausted from wearing masks, from having to act like they have it all figured out when they don't. They're just tired of the performance.
And this is the hunger you see everywhere. There's this deep craving for a real, genuine connection, not just religious performance. A search for a faith that has room for questions and doubts and all our messiness. A faith that can actually breathe. People are looking for a love that feels real and tangible, not just a bunch of complicated ideas.
And so here we are, full circle. This whole journey can really be summed up in this one beautiful idea. We spend so much energy trying to find our way to God through rules and rituals and just trying so hard. But the great discovery is that while we were busy searching for Him, He was already searching for us.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if the big change you're looking for in your spiritual life has nothing to do with trying harder or adding more rules? What if it's so much simpler than that? What if it's just about pausing, taking a breath, and finally accepting the invitation to a real relationship that's been on the table for you this whole time?